pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Krueger here.
Here, here.
Krueger here. Cummings here.
Dolphin here.
Petit here. Okay, and Susan will be here in about 5-ish minutes. Okay, so I'm looking for a,
Verification.
yep, the posting and adoption of the agenda. Is there any updates or changes to that, Brian?
There are none.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we are moving right along for the approval for the previous meeting minutes
We
from,
have to approve the agenda first.
just joking. We are gonna need to approve the agenda.
Can I move to approve the agenda?
You should, you sure can. I have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, by Cindy. So I have a motion on the floor by Dolphin, and seconded by Krueger to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries with a 6-0 vote. Okay, approval of the previous meeting, regular board meeting minutes from April 8th, the open session. Are there any updates, changes? Just looking
I
for.
will move for approval.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Crave, seconded by Petit, to approve the agenda as presented from April 8th, the open session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries with the 6-0 vote. I'm moving right along to the closed session. Are there any changes or updates to those?
I will move for approval.
Do I have a second? Okay, so I have a motion on the floor by Crave and seconded by Jurgis to approve the agenda as presented for the April 8th closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? No one. Okay, motion carries with the 6-0 vote. So we are on, just this
Regular meeting for April 27th.
7th. Okay, do I have any questions on the April 27th?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, April 27th.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Dolphin, seconded by Petit, to approve the agenda as presented from April 27th, the open session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Nobody. Motion carries with a 6-0 vote. Moving right along to the closed session, April 27th. Do we have any updates or questions on that one? No? Okay, just looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes from April 27th closed session.
I'll second it.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor by Jurgis, oh, sorry, Chad, and seconded by Krueger to approve the agenda as presented for April 27th, the closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and opposed? No one. Motion carries with the 6-0 vote. Okay, moving right along, we have a presentation for the board. It is the Booster Club.
We would call it a presentation, but
Updates,
Update,
whatever you
yeah.
want.
in your packet, there should be our past businesses we've solicited for our yearly sponsorship, which would be next school year. We're just asking to add the other sheet, which is 5 businesses that express interest in possibly sponsoring for next year, next school year. Just asking to have those approved to be potential sponsors for next school year for the show. So I have
Does anyone have any questions for Casey?
I was kind of curious, some of these are bolded, the others are not.
I believe those are past sponsors that actually said yes, this been sponsored in the recent past.
Gotcha.
These are just businesses that can potentially can sponsor with improved by the board.
So since we have a couple of new members, your policy states that any list of sponsors that would be published on anything, if the district needs to have board approval, so that's what they're doing, is they're coming for their annual approval of the list. I thought the list looked great. We really appreciate the Booster Club's sponsorships and support over the years. So I think they've done a great job.
Brian, do you have any questions with the list that was added on, the 5 that were added on?
I do not.
Okay, so that, is that down below?
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
vote on
Okay,
it later.
that's down below.
I
Does
don't have any.
anyone else have any questions for Mr. Rubner? No? Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks,
Moving
Casey.
right along, we have the student representatives. I don't see
Yeah,
them.
our students are not here, they're probably at the music concert.
Okay, so we are good there. Just one note on soccer, we tied our first game. Okay, and that's a big deal.
Okay.
So usually they give the sports updates, so I just wanted to let you know that was a big thing.
It
It's
wasn't tied
it's-
0-0, was it?
No, 2-2. So you know, I was so proud. It's a learning year. We got a new coach, and we did not have any subs. And the girls that were out there ran all 80 minutes, and so it was really awesome to see. So, anyways,
Awesome.
all right, moving on. The WASB new board member workshop, Cindy and Jennifer, you guys attended. What did you guys think of that?
There was a lot of information, a lot of good information. Things that you wouldn't think about just in general as far as communication goes. So it was a good workshop, and it was nice to see the other faces that have continued to come back as well and support the kids in their community.
And they said Brian, I believe he was a superintendent.
You were, yeah.
It was a really good turnout, good meeting.
This is the meeting in Verona?
Yeah, in a beautiful high school, holy smokes. Yes, it's something.
Well, thank you guys for attending, and Brian, thank you for going, that's awesome. All right, so administrative reports, Shawn, end of year schedule.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk through end of the year for the high school. I just have my notes on my computer. We've always struggled in the high school with end of the year planning and finals and times. So I heard from staff, we sat down earlier this school year and talked through what it could look like. The reason it's been a struggle is usually at the end of every term, students have like extra time, right? They can get like an extra week if I allow it through admin approval that they can, if they need to redo a test, if they missed an assignment due to attendance. We struggle with that come fourth term because the end of the year happens and then graduation happens and we're done. So we sat down with staff earlier this year, wanted to hear, some of their solutions, and I think it's in your board packet. You can see what we wanted to develop, what we're proposing. Again, I think any solution, there isn't something that's going to fit everything. This is something that was proposed that we think would best fit our students. So that last week of school, we have graduation practice on that Friday. So senior grades have to be done, and it's a process through how teachers submit grades, how our office looks at it by Thursday lunchtime. So we can ensure all students are ready to graduate. So we looked at it from like a student lens, how can we best fit the kids? Because in years past, we've had so many junior, senior classes that are combined, like some of those teachers would give a final like the second to last week of school, then the students are in class. Just the timing isn't right. So that's some of the background of why the staff and myself looked at this last couple days of school. So as you can see, that Tuesday, we have school. That Monday is just a normal day. Tuesday and Wednesday, I want to say,
I don't see it.
It was on the computer, right?
it should be in your packet somewhere.
Is this it?
It's right in the actual informer.
Yeah, it's just a couple pages in.
Yeah.
It's a couple pages.
We thought you women have.
No, it's okay, that's why I was like, I gotta
Oh,
find it.
D.
Action item D.
D, yes, action, sorry.
Okay.
So it's a 4-day week. Right here.
Oh, yeah, I'm good, okay, I'm on it, and I didn't even notice.
It's a 4-day week, Monday to Thursday with students. Friday is a day with staff. We do a staff recognition. I want to say usually at 9 o'clock that day, I think, or 8 o'clock. And then we have graduation practice right away at 10:30 right after that event. So what we're proposing, Monday's a normal school day. Tuesday and Wednesday are normal days. It's just that we're focusing on like finals and testing presentations for everyone. That's the expectation. We haven't done that in the past because it's kind of been hit and miss. We've done it the week prior. And then kids are in class, but their grades are kind of finalized, so it's just a unique time. Like, what do we do to fill those days? That's why we determined we wanted to try to have a true final schedule. So Tuesday, sort of final, so test, presentation, a paper, whatever that may be. And then that's a B day. And then the Wednesday would be an A day, same process. And because we haven't had opportunities for students to do some retakes if it's needed, as we can with other terms, we thought Thursday that would be a good chance for students if they need to get some extra points, or if they were gone for one of those testing days, they will come in and do the testing on that day. That Thursday would be a makeup day. It's not a not school day. Students, even if you don't have a makeup, you can still come to school. It's not that you are not allowed, or it's not technically an off day, sort of say. But students can come to school. If they're all caught up with everything, a parent or guardian would just call in and say, hey, my student's not coming in today. So that same process would be in place for students that feel they're all set with their grades. And then, as I said, senior grades are due, so seniors would have to have their final stuff all done by Thursday at lunch. The rest of the students could, we wait usually until the end of the day Thursday to finalize all those grades for staff. Also take into consideration there are papers that teachers have to grade and whatnot, so it's a quick turnaround. So that's why we wanted to look at that Thursday of doing that. There are some other schools, because I did ask some of our principals in my Capital Conference principal meeting. A little more than half have a finals type of schedule. We never have. So it's something that we wanted to try to solve to meet the kids' needs. Also understanding that, yes, I know we're all in one building and there's, a lot of our high school kids drive the little kid, their siblings to school in elementary. That would still be as normal. We wouldn't change any of that, just maybe those students, if they're all caught up, could have a parent or guardian call them in, they wouldn't have to come to school, but they're more than welcome to join us for that last day as well. So, again, making it more formal, just so we could have that time, and allowing students that opportunity on Thursday to do some makeups.
So I have a question. So what if the students, the parents still want them to go to school that day?
Yep.
What would they be doing if you guys have this designated block schedule for the makeup and stuff like that?
Yeah, good question. So we have a 4-block schedule, right? So if you look there, we would break it in half. So the block would be 43 minutes, first block A day, and then B day, halfway through the block. So it doesn't disrupt the middle or elementary schedules. What goes on in class during that day? It can be, if students are wanting to do some extra work, they can. A lot of times that last school day, even in years past, has kind of been more of a fun, we're here to maybe do some fun activities, some trivia in your class.
Okay.
So there's still something going on. Will it affect their grade if they're not doing a test, like the stuff that they're doing more as like enrichment activities? No, but the school day is open, we will have stuff planned for the students to do still.
So the students who do want to make up stuff for that day, are they in a different area than the students that don't need to?
They would be in the classroom. It would all depend on how many kids would have to be in that class, right? If there's 6 kids in that class all wanting to be there, they would stay in the class. We have our library open as well if there's a need. Maybe like 10 students, 5 don't need to be there, 5 need to test, we can find the space for them.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Bartelt?
If there were to be like a need where there's students, and I haven't even talked to Ms. Ziemann or Ms. Viken about it, I know sometimes they do like a field day. We would assign students, like if they don't have work to do in class, that they would be, like a teacher's assistant for the day appropriately, right? Not causing any issues or disruptions or any of that stuff. Decided per block as well, if that's a need. I don't know if that's a need, but that's something we could explore too with it. So, kind of unique being in one building. as well, just because I know we haven't done this before, so.
So it would really just affect the June 4th Thursday.
It would be that Thursday, it would be the day that,
schedule.
yep, parents, caregivers would have to call in if their student's all set, but it does give those kids an opportunity to make up stuff, so if they missed a test, if they need to retake the test, again, retake policy is if students receive lower than a 79% on that final from Tuesday or Wednesday, if they got a 60%, they want to get some extra points, they can come do it on Thursday.
So this is offered for the other quarters, just not the final.
It's offered that, the reason we have put this together is because we can see the kids, so like when quarter 2 ends in the middle of January, term 3 starts the next week, but if there's a kid that missed a class or their test, they have time to make it up that following week.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of that option with the summer,
Yeah.
right, starting, so that was part of the problem solving.
Is there a plan in place if we don't approve this?
I mean, we could go back to what we've done in years past, which has worked, yes, but, we still have very sparse attendance, and just to be honest with the board, we have sparse attendance the last couple of days of school because finals may be pushed a little bit earlier based on classes. We try not to do any of that, but, you know, a teacher may give a final because they have a mixed junior class on Monday. It's not perfect, but, there are students then that will, if we don't have a true dedicated day for finals, we'll get a lot of call-ins, which we have the past couple of years. And we're hopeful that having a dedicated time will, you know, prepare students for what's life like after high school as well. That's what happens in colleges, and not everyone goes to college, but also with real world jobs, you have timelines and deadlines, like you gotta do this project by this time, and that's what our goal is preparing.
On average, like percentage wise, what do you think are the call-ins for the last
Like what have
day?
we had the past couple?
Yeah.
We've had very sparse attendance.
Okay, like more than 50%?
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't check, for example, we had, when our girls went to state for softball, was that 3 years ago?
2023.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago. We had a lot of students not come that day, but our whole softball team was here that day. But it was a scheduled academic day, and attendance was sparse. We're hoping that this would solve some of that. But if there is a softball game that night, to make it state or baseball or tracks, the expectations of those kids per our handbook would have to be in school. So it's not like they get to leave, just because their academics are done. So we would still follow our code book with it.
Is there any other questions?
Thank you.
very much. All right, so we are at Ziemann math curriculum recommendation.
Okay, so as you know, we have been piloting different math curriculums throughout the year. The teachers have had opportunity to do several units from different resources. They have rated the resources that we had to pilot. And collectively, they have chosen to move forward with illustrative math, version 360. So it is the updated curriculum for illustrative math. If you remember, we adopted that 7/12, 2 years ago, I believe. 2 years ago. So it's going to be nice that we will have vertical alignment of a similar resource all the way up through. Kindergarten, first and second grade would like to continue to use a resource called Lucky Little Learners, and then supplement their curriculum with IM 360 for centers and small group instruction. And there's some really nice embedded resources within the program. All of the curriculum is actually free online. However, we are going to go with a company called Kendall Hunt to purchase the teacher manuals and the student workbooks. So, are there any questions about that so far? No? Okay, in your packet I did have a link to the resource so that you can look at it. It's very highly rated, and a little bit later I think we will ask you to approve the resource for questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, Holly Viken Summer School. We can't hear you.
Oh, hold on. I guess we're mute down here.
There we go, we're good. Holly, we can hear you now.
Good, okay. So we're offering 38 classes this year for summer school. And out of those 38 classes, 29 of them are already full. And most classes have between 15 and 19 students enrolled. We're offering again our basketball camps in the afternoon. And right now we have about 40 students signed up for those so far. We also implemented last year a very popular with 7-12 students. We offered a summer strength and conditioning class. Right now, currently, we have about 30 students enrolled in that, but we're expecting more, as last year we had between 75 and 80 students who participated in that, which was a 6:30 in the morning until 9 in the morning. For about 6 weeks. So we did it through summer school and then a little bit longer. So we had some really great success with that last summer. And then, so right now we have around 150 students enrolled in just our pre-K-8 summer school classes. That doesn't include the basketball camps or the strength and conditioning classes. So I think we're looking good. Just like last summer, we really increased our minutes, our student minutes with the strength and conditioning class, and then also with those basketball camps in the afternoon. So it's looking good. Our summer school is filling up, and we have one less teacher than we had last year. For summer school, we have, I think, 12 teachers instead of last year we had 13. So
That's awesome
Question?
numbers.
Cool.
No, thank you.
Right, thanks everybody.
All right, we have Michele Armentrout with Student Services update.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Cindy and Jennifer. I'm Michele Armentrout. I'm the Student Services Director. And Suzi's going to cue up my slides, I hope. I'm a slide girl. I love visuals, so I will almost always have slides.
Pardon me?
You can just share the screen.
Yep. It's a process. And then you click, yep.
I'm clicking it.
Oh, great.
I don't think that's one.
Oh, yeah, I think it's down.
I'm clicking up here.
We're good.
Go back to the window.
Go back to the window of the slideshow.
Right up at the top.
Right here?
Oh, here, this guy. Yes, there it is.
Oh,
And then,
not.
ding, ding,
Sorry
we
about
got
that.
it. That's okay, that's okay.
I was pushing on
We,
the
you know, the technical difficulties are a real thing. Okay. Boop. That's our film strip signal from, you know, the 1980s. Then you gotta. You're doing great. If you do the right arrow.
I'm doing all the arrows.
You might have to go back to the cab.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's my first day here.
It's
No,
okay.
you're okay.
That's okay. We're amongst friends, we're amongst friends. Okay, so I have a little alphabet soup, which is the world of special education and student services. I'd love to share some grant funding updates with you. So I'm going to talk about our ES3 grant, I'm going to talk about our SEEKs, and then I'm going to talk about NME, and I'm going to explain all those letters. And then I just want to update you on my WCAS Professional Development Conference that I was able to attend in La Crosse. One thing that I chatted with Brian about that I'm really excited is I am going to be emailing a feedback survey to the board just for learning opportunities as I think about planning for 26-27. I could probably present on each one of these things for an hour. And so I'm taking a lot of information and I'm smushing it into one slide. So I wanted to give the board an opportunity to to let me know what you want to hear more about, because like I said, I can talk forever. So as you're listening, if there's anything that's like standing out, like, oh, I'd love to hear more about that, just note that, and then that'll be in the survey that I'll probably send out tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to start with our ES3 grant. This is a grant that was written a year ago or 2 years. We're in the second year of a 3-year grant. And this particular grant stands for Enhancing Social and Emotional Skills for Students with IEPs. What this grant does is it really focuses on students that are neurodiverse. How do we support those students? What skills and strategies can we be bringing to the table to make sure we're serving all students? Our team chose to focus on building independent pathways for our students. Many of our students that need that additional adult support in the classroom sometimes get locked in with those additional adult supports year after year after year and fail to build those true independent skills. When they graduate, they don't get to put a little adult in their pocket and take them with them. So our goal is to really think about what are the skills they need so that they can do things on their own. Within this grant, we've also spent a lot of time with professional development on an additional training for our paraprofessionals. We were able to do an all-staff presentation in both November and April to kind of share about the work around this and how really it takes all staff to make this happen. Within this grant, we also are continuing our work around college, career readiness, IEP process. And this year we spent a lot of time really focusing on having our staff progress monitor, collect data, make sure our students are improving the way they need to be, as well as tracking their service minutes to make sure that the specially designed instruction that are in the student's IEP is actually being delivered to the timely fidelity. All right, then, the next one is SEEKS. This particular work is grant funded by the Greater Watertown Community Health Foundation. This is also a 3-year grant, and we are in our first year this year. SEEKS stands for Social Emotional Engagement, Knowledge, and Skills. And we're really focusing in and have talked at the different building levels on student engagement. When Scott Carr came in a couple of years ago to observe and give us feedback, he said that's our #1 area that he noticed, that when he would walk into classrooms, he was missing the level of engagement he would want to see from our students. We know that when students are engaged, we have less behavior problems, we have greater achievement because they're locked in and they're willing and ready to learn. So this particular structure really focuses on engagement in 3 different ways: investment, independence, and initiation. And so it helps teachers really think about and hone in on maybe just focusing on one of those, we call it the 3 I's of engagement. We're in the beginning learning process of this. Dr. Jen Townsend from CISA 2 has come to help our work. We are working at this from both the Tier 1 or universal level, when you think of our multi-level systems of support, as well as the Tier 3. So she started in the middle school level with Tier 1 and took a cohort of teachers that are participating in learning around this, as well as mentorship. So what they're doing is, instead of somebody coming in and giving professional development or having an administrator come in and say, here's what I'm noticing, here's what I suggest, they're doing appreciative inquiry with each other. And so they're mentoring each other in partnerships, getting into each other's classroom, really understanding what engagement looks like, and noticing the different strategies and skills that they're seeing in a classroom. Again, in that appreciative way. I noticed that when you use sentence starters or a word bank in your small group discussion, you had 90% of your students engaged and they were using the content-specific vocabulary, to give an example. So this is really exciting work, and like I said, we're just starting this. With 3 years, we'll have 3 cohorts of teachers, and so it's just gonna build and grow so that our staff really are supporting each other in this work. All right, the next piece, these words are so dense and big, but the neurosequential model in education, I've presented just snippets of this to the board over the last couple of years. I've spent the last 2 years in training, was able to write a grant to get that training fully funded so that I could be an advanced trainer for Waterloo specifically. And the neurosequential model is really looking at brain development and how that impacts our understanding of student behavior, that state and stage development, and how we might apply that knowledge so that our staff and our students are finding more success in the classroom. So our first Waterloo cohort started in March of this year, and that is learning that we are doing together that I am able to lead. Right now we have 10 teachers sign up. Typically this costs about $4,000 per participant, but through the grant funding, we're not paying anything at all, which is great. So they're getting this really wonderful opportunity for this learning. Then after they complete 11 months of this training, they can train and share this information with other staff. So the 10 staff members that volunteered for this opportunity, what I love about it is they represent classroom teachers, special educators, counselors, ELL staff, and we have staff from every level, elementary, middle, and high school. And then we come together once a month, and they have spent prep time watching videos, reading articles, we're doing a book study, and then we come together and we go over these key ideas. And again, it really focuses on brain development, how the brain works, how stress impacts us, all really good things that in education is helpful for us to understand. So those are 3 of our big grants that I wanted to share with you. Before I talk about WCAS, are there any questions about those or clarifications? Great, then the last thing I just want to share is in the spring WCAS, that should say 2026, I was able to attend a 3-day conference in La Crosse, and I just want to again give my appreciation for the opportunity to do this. When we have our WCAS conferences in the fall and the spring, it is the opportunity where we get DPI, we get our special ed, legal, and we get area directors all across the state together in the same space, which is just invaluable. This year we focused, or this spring we focused on high leverage practices, multi-level systems of support specifically for the high school level, what administrators need to know about related services. We talked a lot about pupil records and subpoenas and open enrollment. So again, I just wanted to highlight the learning that I was able to experience with the board and share my appreciation for that opportunity. So, any questions?
No, thank you. When is that survey gonna come out?
I plan to send it tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning.
And you're gonna send it, you said to
I'm gonna send it to all the board members. Yep. And I'll
Thank
see
you.
Brian, so he has that, and then we can go from there.
Thank you. Okay, we got Suzi Daniels for the kitchen grant items.
So last fall, we applied for a grant from the Dairy Farm in Wisconsin to support student nutrition and meal accessibility. And we were awarded that grant. In April, we received 3 different items. 1 grab-and-go cart, 3 milk crate coolers, and 1 big milk cooler that the kids get the milk out of. So those items total just under $5,800. So these will help improve meal service efficiency, provide students with increased access to nutritious dairy options for the school year, and we're very grateful to the Dairy Farm in Wisconsin for allowing us to receive that.
All right, we got Brian Henning, committee meeting dates.
Yeah, I know Jennifer had asked last meeting about committee meeting dates. We've never really put firm dates on the calendar a year in advance. We certainly could change and do that. That is nice to be able to see those in advance, although everybody doesn't always know what they're doing in December this time of year, but something to think about. But I did just want to mention for everyone's sake, and Jennifer also, that the curriculum committee, they usually meet in October and November and go through those course guides and curriculum changes and those kinds of things for the upcoming year. That's their main meeting, and then if there's any additional considerations throughout the year, they have met as well. Personnel is usually a spring meeting, February, March, April. We usually talk about compensation, health insurance, those kinds of things. Building and grounds is always once in the fall and once in the spring. We sort of identify those projects in the fall and get a list of to-do items going, and then spring we circle back and see what we have money left to do, and then round out the year before the fiscal year ends in June 30th. Policy committee usually meets twice a year. There's usually a summer update, and so we'll be contacting you about this next update that's on our desk right now. And then also there's usually a winter one. And then finance is a little more irregular, so that tends to deal with like bus contracts and referendums and insurance bids and those sort of things. Right now we're on every 5 years for a bus contract. Hopefully we're done with referendums for a while. Insurance bids are usually every 2 to 3 years. So those kinds of things that deal with that as well. And then legislative wise, we're in the middle of a budget biennium year. There's some good news out there that we'll see some increased special ed funding, or at least it'll be made whole as promised. So that seems to be developing in a promising manner. But we could look at the schedule for meeting more frequently with the legislative committee if you wanted to as well. So just wanted to provide that information, and if that's working, we'll continue with that. If we want to revisit it and do it differently, just let us know what you want to do.
And then will those be updated online too? So,
Yes,
okay.
yes, thank you.
Perfect.
We'll get that.
Okay, perfect. All right, moving right along for the approval of the bills and vouchers, which includes, usually we do all three, the treasurer's report, the report of the superintendent listing, the disbursements through April 30th, and the district receipts for the month of April. Are there any questions regarding these three reports?
I will so move for approval of all three reports.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Craig, seconded by Dolphin, to approve all the three reports as listed. It's a roll call vote.
Craig, yes.
Yes.
Figure yes.
Cummings, yes?
Dolphin, yes.
Petit, yes. Yes.
Okay, motion carries on a 7-0 vote. All right, do we have any announcements this evening?
I have an announcement.
Yes.
There was bus contractors mentioned, and I could have brought this up several months ago, but at the school board convention, I walked by the booth of Right Way, and I had my Waterloo name tag on, and they said, "Oh, I'm just a board member from Waterloo." Thank you, and it was the owner, Mrs. Bask, I believe her name is. She's even older than I am, and very appreciative. So it was a nice conversation and a good place to be. So I just wanted to share some nice news from the school board convention.
Perfect, thank you.
And then hot off the press, I just found out about it today. I didn't want to disclose a secret too early, but Michele said that we can announce it. So I think she has some staff recognition announcements.
Yes, I do. So through the WCAS platform, I was able to make several nominations for people worthy of recognition, and 3 people associated with our district won the regional awards for WCAS. Mrs. Holli Viken won for Inclusive Administrator. Carrie Yenner won for Student Services Administrative Assistant, and then we had a student autumn win for student achievement, and so we're really excited about our recipients. They will be recognized May 22nd at CISA 2 in Whitewater for a breakfast and then a little bit of an award situation. So we're excited about that.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
That is awesome.
It's really cool.
Very nice.
Yes. Is there any other announcements? No? Okay. Moving right along to public input. Is there any present or online that would like to provide public input? No? Okay, Seeing none. We're moving right along to new business. So we have, we would need the approval for the staff position that is listed. It is a retirement for Holli Viken. Is there any questions, or we would just need an approval?
I'll move to approve the staff positions as presented.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor by Kwame, seconded by Jurgis. Wow, I am struggle bus tonight. To approve the staff position as listed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries with a 7-0 vote. Okay, the Water Athletic Booster Club fundraiser. He came and presented the 5 additional that he wanted to add on to the list. Brian did not find any issues with those 5, so I'm just looking for a motion.
I didn't find any issues either, I moved to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor by Dolphin, second by Petit, to approve the Waterloo Athletic Booster Club fundraisers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries with a 7-0 vote. Right, we are down to the Waterloo school-owned band instruments. Are there questions regarding the Waterloo band instruments that is listed in the packet?
Yeah, and I wanted to start, because this is a, carryover from our April meeting when we were asking you to approve some things, but weren't fully ready at that time to disclose some of the information about the funding for this purchase. So, we're recommending that you approve a budget for band instruments tonight of about $91,000. And if you remember, we approved a deficit budget for this school year, so that's a little bit alarming to most people. I understand that completely. The piece that sort of came about and developed in the spring here that we were not necessarily prepared for was that the FFA alumni was out doing their fundraising efforts for their portion of the ag building. And if you remember, they agreed to contribute $100,000 to the ag building. We would front the money to get it up and get it built, and then they would pay us back when they had the opportunity. We did the same thing with the Booster Club for things over the years. So we didn't know if it would be 1 year or 5 years, but eventually they would pay us back. Well, in record time, just a few short months, they were able to get that funding, and then they made a somewhat surprise presentation to the board on their April 24th FFA banquet. So knowing that we were receiving, about $100,000 in revenue that we weren't expecting for this year, of course, Suzi and I put our heads together and said, well, what good can we do with this money yet this year? And that's where we got the idea to purchase the band instruments. So it's definitely a big purchase. We have not done instrument purchases to any major extent in a very long time here. There's a huge need. The reports are in your packet of what our current condition of band instruments are. There's definitely a need. You certainly could go a lot of different directions with how you approach that. We've recommended one. If you want to do that, great. If you want to do something different, we can do that too. But just for transparency's sake, we wanted to help people in the community understand that while we had a deficit budget this year, we also took in that $100,000 donation, and that was something we weren't anticipating, and so we wanted to turn around and put it to use for kids.
So the FFA, they paid back, right, essentially, and then was it was it a credit card, was it how did we fund that, 100,000 to the FFA? Do we know how that was?
Well, I think last year,
Yeah,
we paid the bills.
okay, so we just paid them.
Yeah,
So-
we used the grant money, and then the rest was kind of like just a tally of what was owed.
Okay.
And it came from general fund, correct?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
I mean, but in the end, there was no general fund money used on it, because it was a wash.
But because we got the money
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
So the $100,000 we spent went back to general.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so what are your guys' thoughts? Any other questions?
So what, I just want to verify, so it says in here that it's, you kind of rated the equipment on a scale of 1 to 5.
Mhm.
So with this dollar amount, if I'm understanding correctly, is the 1 to 2 that's the worst instruments, correct?
Correct.
So it's not everything, it's our worst instruments that we're looking to.
Correct. Yeah, everything that's rated the poorest condition, which would be the ratings of 1 and 2, those would be replaced. The one thing that might be a little confusing with the numbers, and Mr. Jasinski did get several bids, is there is, higher end trombones and lower end trombones. We sort of asked him to target something in the middle. Which is why, if you were to approve it tonight, we asked you to approve a budget not to exceed, and so that he could go out and shop and get the instruments. If he wanted to maybe get a little better saxophone, but a little lower quality trombone, he could have discretion to do that, but what he's proposing is more middle of the road expenditures on those instruments. So that's where we've established the budget.
And as you mentioned before, we haven't really put any money into our band equipment for a while.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's sort of a big ticket item, so it gets passed over every year. So it's nice to have this chunk of money that really wasn't necessarily allocated to be able to throw at something like this.
Do our numbers for band continue to kind of be the same as far as the kids that go out for band? I mean, is that, are we putting the money, I think music is very important. I have a child who is actually big into music, but I'm just curious, are you seeing your numbers go up as well in band, or are they kind of just stay flat around the board as far as how many kids like to go into band?
Yeah, we're always pretty stable year to year. I would say in recent years it's growing. The band sounds great and they're very active. Of course, they're taking the trip to Florida here in June. They have their concerts. They sound great. We've got a new instructor that's doing a nice job. So, I think there's no better time to support a program for sure. And the alternative is to not support it, and it probably won't get better if we don't support it.
For the no's on here, remind me on the first page, remind me on why there's no's of meaning it's not in use. Is there a reason why they're not in use? Because they're on P2, they priority is P2, but then there's 5 of them that are not right now in use.
Yeah, a lot of times it just has to do with what instrument the student chose.
Okay.
Right? If they didn't want to play that, then there's ones that sit there that don't get used. Sometimes they might be in repair or in disrepair, but usually it has to do with what instruments the kids chose for the year to play. So we try to keep a wide variety. You can't have a band with all saxophones.
You're looking for a motion, Sarah?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for the band teacher to replace these instruments with a budget to not exceed $91,000.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Burgess and seconded by Krueger to approve the band equipment to not exceed $91,000. I'm gonna do roll call.
Crave, yes.
Burgess, yes.
Krueger, yes.
Cummings, yes.
Dolphin, yes.
Petit, yes.
Bombing, yes.
Okay, motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Okay. We are moving right along. End of year high school schedule. Shawn gave us his speech. And so are there any questions for him around that? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm kind of old school. School, go, it's kind of weak, turn in a book report. Certain things can be done. I don't, we don't give too many passes at the farm. You're supposed to work till 4 o'clock. You work till 4 o'clock, play cards for half an hour. So I say, I'm not real keen on it.
I think I probably feel the opposite to Charlie, having had two pretty good students in our high school program who opted out of this day, both of them, and it was, I see this as an opportunity for kids to have a chance to make up a test if they want to make up a test before the end of the year. Kids that don't need to be there, don't need to be there.
It's kind of like a reward, per se.
I think families are going to make their own decision regardless of what we decide realistically, but I would be in favor of what Shawn is proposing.
Especially with historic non-attendance on that day.
And, like he mentioned, softball, they can go to state, you know what I mean, they know they have to be there, because of the athletic code, and so they wouldn't be missing.
Right.
Or any track, whatever, baseball.
I think it's, hopefully you all read the Informer and saw that I was not in support of this. I appreciate Shawn bringing this and having the opportunity to talk about it because you get to see both sides of it, and I know Shawn is definitely trying to address some concerns, and that is fantastic. Some of my concerns are, and you've heard me talk about accountability and expectations, and I know it's the end of the school year, and we all know that sometimes that can get a little bit loosey-goosey and so forth, and that is somewhat understandable, but our payroll on a single day in this district is $40,000, payroll for salary and benefits. And so when we start eroding days that just are unexpected to do anything, I think that sends the wrong message to our taxpayers, to our teachers, to our students, to our community about what it is that we're about here. And that's only one day, right? We have other days that stuff like this happens also. So it's like, where do you draw the line for those types of things? We also let the staff set the schedule, right? And if there is concerns about time at the end of the school year for them to get things wrapped up and buttoned up in time for graduation or whatever, then we should be building a schedule to accommodate that. Not building a schedule and then turning around and asking for more days off that should be student contact days. The part that really concerns me is, Suzi and I are supposed to report to the DPI about the instructional minutes that this district has. And I question whether we can report that day as an instructional minutes if we're not requiring attendance that day. And I'm not willing to lie to the DPI for the district, maybe Suzi is, I don't know. But I just have some concerns and I think it sends the wrong message. And the last thing I would say is, while this may fix some idiosyncrasies in the system, you also create some other ones. So we're just trading one set of idiosyncrasies for the other.
I'm leaning towards Charlie's position and Sue's position, which is, I know they're opposites, but ultimately, whatever we say here is probably not gonna matter all that much to the parents. They're gonna call in their kids sick anyway. So, I guess I'm sticking with the old school position with Charlie. For what it's worth.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Let the parents call the kids and say, our teachers and parent teachers kids won't be done.
And just to be clear, I'm not against the finals schedule for the end of the year. The final schedule is great. It's just having Thursday be a expected school day. That's the part I'm against.
Well, you cleared up for me who the informer is, because I'm like, who does not support this schedule change? I didn't know it was you.
Sorry. The mean guy that says no.
Jennifer, do you have anything to say on it?
My thing is why are you, so we're gonna, are we voting on keeping this schedule that, Mr. Bartelt suggested, but not making the last day mandatory or not? I guess that's what I'm a little confused on.
Yes, it would be a makeup day.
So
on June
Thursday would
4th.
be a makeup day.
Makeup day, if someone has to do a retest, a retake for a test, they have to come in, or they just want to come. But it would not be mandatory for January 4th.
And then everything has to be done by noon that day,
What?
as far as
I mean,
grading and
June
stuff go?
What?
Everything has to be done as far as grading and stuff goes by noon that day? That was the other part of it?
Wow, no. For seniors.
Seniors, we just gotta, just do the graduation practice and
Okay.
stuff, and everyone else is able to find out.
So this is just the high school schedule though?
Yeah.
Okay, so I also think there's a lot of passes nowadays. And I think if these are high school seniors, and I'm unfortunately not with the other ladies on this, but I think that we need to let them know that going in to adulthood, there is structure and there's guidelines, and you know, you're also gonna have rules that need to be followed in order to move forward with life. So I also agree with Charlie. I think that I love everything that you're asking here, and I think this is great for the normal schedule, but a makeup day, at that point, as a senior even, I think that we need to let them know that they need to be responsible for their actions at that point. So I don't know if the makeup day, like you guys are saying, and I agree with Kwame Chu, is that they're either gonna come or they're not, but we shouldn't give that choice. Because we are here to learn and we're here to further their education and get them where they need to go as adults.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion? Does anyone want to make a motion
I will make the motion
to
to not move forward with this.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor by Petit and seconded by Crave to not approve the end of the year high school schedule. All those in favor?
Well,
What?
Let's do it,
Roll
we seem
call?
to have, yeah, roll call. Can I suggest that?
Craig, yes.
Yes.
Okay, you convinced me with the TPI minutes. Krueger, yes.
Cummings, yes.
Wolfen, yes.
Kwame, no.
Okay, that was a 6-1 vote. 6-0, no, 6-1.
6-1.
6-1, yeah, okay, I had everything done. All right, so moving on, we have a early graduate.
We did miss the curriculum approval.
It was not on here.
Yeah, we didn't have that on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, okay.
Sorry. I do not.
No, you're on track, Sarah.
Okay.
You're doing good.
Okay. All right, so the early graduation request, it is in your packet, is on the back. It is, his name is Mason Reedy, he's an 11th grader. And I believe he is working with you guys to make sure that he has enough credits to graduate by January of 2027. He is already full online right now, and he would like to get into the workforce. So, are there any questions in regards to that?
I'll move to approve the early graduation request.
And I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Dolphin and seconded by Pettit to approve the early graduation request. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and opposed? Said no one. Motion carries with a 7-0 vote. All right, so we are down to the administrative team structure.
Yeah, and there's nothing new with this one. We've been talking about it as a board. It just is on here for official action so that we can start hiring the positions. And I can talk a little bit about the principal interviews in a second here.
Okay. Are there any questions with the admin team structure? Okay, I'm just looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the admin team structure.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Burgess. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to just call you Chad. I have a motion on the floor by Chad and seconded by Krueger to approve the admin team structure. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, said no one. Motion carries with a 7-0 vote. All right, moving on. Principal interviews. It is a discussion.
Yep, and I can just give a quick update, and then Sarah and Cindy had a chance to sit in on interviews. We necessarily can't talk about the candidates tonight yet because we're still in the process, but we did have interviews on Monday and Tuesday. We had 4 really strong candidates. I was very pleased with the candidates. We had a very large group of people that helped out with that. We had a couple students, we had several teachers, we had the admin team, we had board members, we had other staff members, so very good representation of the district. We had parents. And we're in the process now of checking references and following up on information that we learned or wanted to learn more about in the interviews. And we hope to have a recommendation for you in June, as that person's official start would be somewhere around the July 1st timeframe. So Sarah or Cindy, do you want
Yeah, I mean,
to offer any further reflections?
they were all very strong, like Brian said. I was really impressed. It was getting kind of late, and there was a lot of interview questions, about 28 between the two groups. So, and they only had a half an hour to do about 15, so they did really well. So,
And I think they enjoyed, and I enjoyed having the high school students there, with your team as well. And yeah, they're all great.
Cool.
yeah. All right, so we are moving on to the discussion around graduation.
Yeah, we're close now, so just looking to confirm, since we had some change in members of everybody that's helping for graduation. Last chance to get involved or change your mind or whatever.
I'd like to be in on that.
Same here.
Okay, so we had Sarah, Susan, Cindy, Jennifer, we'll add Jeremy and Charlie.
Chad.
And Chad.
All of us.
Everybody.
Good thing we
united
moved
front.
outside.
How special.
It's nice day. I think that's the first time we had all seven.
I think so. Okay, are there any future agenda items?
Will Chad be speaking on behalf of the school board?
No. That's the president's job.
So
There you go.
just with graduation, outside as the students voted on that, and if you could be there by like 12:30 on that
Sure.
Sunday, and your role, we'll have chairs up front by the podium, your role is to help hand out the diplomas.
Okay.
So, awesome, thank you.
So for the future agenda, we will add the curriculum on there to be approved. You won't need to tell us about it again. Sorry about that.
Yep, and then I was contacted about putting standards-based grading on the agenda for the future. And then, really hesitant to say it out loud, but are we gonna talk about concessions in the field house?
Yes, we are. Brian yeah, we are.
Okay.
Concession stand, yep.
I knew you'd love that one, Sarah.
Yeah, I really do. That really makes me happy. All right.
And didn't we guys talk about those grading policies, if we try to get a higher grade?
Oh, yeah, can we also look into potentially looking at the grading policy of, because right now we currently have, like, if you get a certain grade on a test, and you can't retake it, if there's a student that wants to retake, let's say they got a B, they can't retake it, because of how our policy is written. I would just like to, like, see, to look at that, because
Do we have that in the policy, or is that individual teacher discretion?
It's in our grading expectations that we have.
we sure do. Yes. So like my daughter, for instance, she got a C and she does not want, or maybe it was, I don't know what grade it was, but she was very unhappy with that grade. So I would like to look at, you know, that option. I don't know if it makes sense. I just would like to look at like how our policies are around that.
Is it in the policies or the handbook?
It's in our, I think it's handbooks, that would be a handbook thing, I don't think it's a policy now that I'm thinking of it. Let me check, I'll gather more info for that.
Okay. Thank you.
But it's a handbook expectation that's approved by the board.
Okay, so I am looking for a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85. C1CF, the Board of Education may move into closed session for the purpose of, do I have to read all A and B? Okay, yeah, I do. Discussion and potential action concerning employment or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and B, discussion and potential action considering medical, social, or personnel histories or disciplinary data of the specific person, specific personal problems, or in the investigation of charges against specific persons, except where Part B applies, which if discussed in public would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data, or involved in such problems or investigations, specifically discussion of a student matter subject to Wisconsin State Chapter 115, sub B, and Wisconsin Statute Section 118.125. Is there a motion?
You made that motion, right?
I made that
I will
motion.
second that.
Okay. So, Cummings has made the motion and seconded by Chad to approve going into closed session. That is a roll call vote.
Craig, yes.
Jurgis, yes.
Krueger, yes.
Cummings, yes.
Dolphin, yes.
Pettit, yes. Swami, yes.
Motion carried on a 7-0 vote. We will give you 5 minutes to break down.